All right. Episode 2, the podcast. We're back. We're back, guys. Timberwolves just got done playing, huh? Not so hot.
Yeah, it was a tough one. I'm having a hard time remembering what I said on the last podcast.
Oh, I didn't know what you said. You said that they were never going to cheat on us again. I'm going to stop there.
Was it walk out on you on dinner? I think that's what you said.
Yeah, it's leaving us at dinner and picking up the milk and never coming home and always cheating on us.
Oh,
yeah,
that's good.
but I have to say, and again, I need to look at the positive side of this thing. These are tight games that we're playing against the Mavericks. We're down 3-0, of course.
Yeah.
This is not how we thought this was going to go. But these are tight matchups. And you know what? Luka and Kyrie are just demons sent from hell to torture us. I swear.
I mean, that's another thing about Minnesota sports, though, is it's always these awesome games that end terribly for us. So, like, they'd be great games to watch if we were not Minnesota fans. If you were just a fan of basketball in general, and that was it for these games, they're pretty good games. They don't end quite as nicely, but
Luka and Kyrie they have the ball in their hand. There's a very, very good shot it's going on. But hey, before we get to all that stuff, I want to give a big thank you to everyone who tuned in to episode 1 of the podcast. Really, really appreciate it. Guys, someone listened to our podcast in the Netherlands.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Netherlands.
Also, New York.
Okay.
Big shout out for there. 61 downloads. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. We're just having fun with it. We'll see what happens and what we do from here. I'm going to start off with a segment that I like to call Let's Think About It. And we've brought this up last year when we were watching football together. And we're going to bring it up again so everyone can hear what our thoughts are on it. Field goals in the NFL. Or on just a football field in general. Are you guys making a 20-yard field goal? I'm going to give you 5 chances.
We get 5 chances.
I'm going to give you 5. I'm going to give you 5 because you get a couple to warm up with, and then after that, you're like, all right, 4 or 5, you're like, okay, I'm ready to go.
do I also get 15 minutes to stretch before I make sure I don't tear my ACL on the first kick?
I will give you 25 minutes to stretch.
Otherwise, I only get 1 attempt because I'm out right after.
Yeah, Trevor goes up for 1 kick. His leg snaps. It goes through. It's like, all right.
So I think to explain the scenario a little bit more, this is not like a rush is coming against you, long snap or holder kick.
No.
Also, you're talking about on a tee kicking a field goal.
I'm talking about us going out there
or tee?
Casually. Well, that's another good question.
I'm still confident in either one.
I'm going to say tee. I would say I'm confident in either one, yes. I can go 20 yards
Unless
with
that
a tee.
Miserable, like the
or
worst
a
holder ever.
If I'm holding for you, Trevor, are you making it?
Yeah, as long as you're not screwing me over and just dropping it when I'm about to kick it.
Oh, I would never do that. That's what you do in when you're playing on the pavement with your buddies. You're like, oh no, you missed that kick. We get it right here at the 10-yard line. Matt, are you making it if I hold the kick for you?
No.
No?
No. No. Well, this is the same thing that you guys think that this is such an easy thing.
I didn't say it was.
And that you can just go out there and just nail these bad boys. And
Yeah,
I feel like
said I had to stretch first.
I feel like the rhetoric around kickers.
You're not.
You're not going to stretch?
No. I'm just going out.
At your age, you should be stretching.
I did wake up last week, and man, my knees were hurting.
And you just think you can just bomb a 20-yard kick?
Yes.
Maybe
Also,
bomb is not the correct word for that, but
are we like straight
bomb it
on,
through the
or
uprights?
do you get to choose where you?
Oh no,
place the
we're
ball?
straight on. I'm not going to get into that hashtag.
If you're getting like if it's
Or
from the
not
right or the
hashtag.
left, I might be missing out.
when was the last time that either of you kicked a field goal?
Never.
Or kicked a football, excuse me.
A very long time ago. Early high school.
So, were you a kicker?
Yeah, I was a kicker before high school, but yeah.
So you were a kicker and a punter.
Yes, and that's why I'm confident I can make a 20-yarder still, is because I have made a 20-yarder in my life, and that was in 8th grade. So
You were a kicker and a punter?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So hold on.
I've never
Why
played
is-
organized
why-
football in my life.
He should not be allowed to be in the same class as us. He has had practice.
I was gonna say, I was also a
never
soccer player,
practiced
so
this.
That's news to me. I
never
didn't know that.
practiced this. Move his butt back 10 yards.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Okay.
See, now you're getting into like.
30 yards, Trev.
I still think I could make a 30-yarder. Once you're getting to 40, now that's pushing it. That's a tough one to make.
That's a poke right there.
I'll explain it for myself. Never practiced it. Never tried it. Never got encouraged to do it. No chance that I'm going out there that thing is going to go end over end. That thing is going to be a spiral in the air.
Yeah, but it just needs to go in. It doesn't need to look nice.
That is true.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I have not practiced this. I didn't play soccer. My feet are for walking. They are not for kicking things. I'm not going to be able to hit that. And
Get
you
you out playing
guys
some kickball or something.
and you guys are completely delusional.
So Matt's a no. Trevor's a yes from 30, it sounded like.
Well, 30, I am not. 5 tries, I'm not
5
going to
tries from
guarantee.
30.
I think I could do it. I'm not going to guarantee it the first 5 tries, but
I'm guaranteeing 1 from 20.
Okay, how far back do you think you can go?
Warmed up or not warmed up?
Does it really matter?
Yeah.
Okay, warmed up then. How far back do you think you can go?
Tee or holder?
This is your question.
whichever's
good
easier
question.
for you. So
Yeah.
I'd say T then.
So okay, so
I don't know. The tee you can't get under and scoop it.
I don't
You
think
can. You can just lay the ball so that it's more slanted.
I guess you could.
You just have a little bit of a limit.
I would say I can get into the 30, 35 range.
you guys.
I would agree that he's going to have the distance for 30, 35. No problem.
Accuracy, I don't know.
Accuracy, yeah, that's where
You almost
problem comes.
I would have to get pretty lucky on the 30 to 35. 20-yarder, it's going in.
Okay, if we get 100 downloads on this episode, then we are going to take video of Taylor and Trevor trying this kick.
Bet.
Yeah, and we'll publish it if we make it.
And we'll we'll publish it regardless, and then I'm going to go out there and go 5 for 5.
Matt's
Yeah,
gonna
well then that makes you the pessimist of this show.
Oh, okay.
Oh, boy.
Don't even start with that.
And with that. Oh my, I love it. I love it. Well, all right. We thought about it. There's the opinions. 100 downloads. We're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen. All right, fellas. Let's jump into Eastern Conference Finals. We're going to start with the Celtics. Start with the good stuff.
the only team.
You think
really-
that's the good stuff after watching these games?
No.
A team that is
We got lucky on game 1.
has been able to just coast,
Yeah.
not even really have to work that hard, and then go up against this Pacers team that the other night Halliburton's not playing, and they're down by how many points in the freaking game?
18?
Was it 18?
I think so.
I know it was 15
I
plus.
think it was almost identical to whatever the Timberwolves had, which I think we had 17 or 18. Not this tonight, obviously, but
Before we get to the last game, game 1, Tatum, 36. Brown hit the game winner to force overtime. I want to bring up that situation at the end of the game. Pacers are up 3. You have
Foul 'em.
fouls. You can just foul someone, get them on the free throw line to shoot 2 points or 2 free throws. What are you doing? Are you letting that play run out, or are you fouling them as soon as you can?
I mean, this is the game he had 40 points too, right?
No,
he had
game
26,
2.
7, and 5.
Okay.
Yeah. I think in that scenario, again, this is the same thing that we've seen in the Timberwolves game as well. You do not want to give them that shot because in that scenario, that gives them the lead. That gives them the advantage in that for that 3-pointer.
Brown shot.
For the 3-pointer shot.
Are you talking the Timberwolves or the Pacers? They were down 3. That was the force overtime. Yeah, I wasn't clear on that. Sorry.
No, that's all good.
The Brown shot was to force overtime. So you could foul, get them on the free throw line. He makes 2 free throws. You have 4 seconds left. Now Boston has to foul and get Pacers back on the free throw line, and then you're going back and forth like that, cat mouse game.
Mm-hmm.
Did they have a timeout as well?
I don't know that. I don't remember
That's the
that.
one thing. The only thing I can think of is if when you're inbounding,
The
if you
Pacers.
can't get in,
In order to get it to the half court line.
well, you don't not even necessarily to get to the half court line, but if you're panicking because they're playing lockdown defense, you want to call a timeout so you don't get a 5-second call. But even then, the chances that you can't get it to at least somebody, I don't think it was worth that.
I'm
so
I'm
I'd
very I'm very happy the Celtics won. I really am. The way they played that in that first game, I think the Pacers should have fouled
I think,
sooner.
but if you and again, if you foul, then they have to reset. That means everybody has to reset. So
Yeah.
then you get one more shot at it, defensively and offensively.
True.
So if you feel like you're getting back on your heels a little bit, fouling and making sure that they don't go to the line, or even if they go to the line too, what is their opportunity? They only get 2 points. So then you can really set that up and try it again, playing with your own momentum and playing with your own pace versus allowing somebody else to play with their pace. I feel like it's just kind of a no-brainer as far as being able to control how the game is going to go. But you have to say though, the Pacers are playing a little bit out of their mind and like equally disappointing all the same. Like their shooting stats are just insane. Like they set that record against the Knicks, and then yesterday I remember during that game they're at like 67% after halftime
Against the
Celtics.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
They were.
and you're like, this team can't miss. But then they just
turn it
implode.
over.
Yeah.
They
It's all
just
turnovers pretty
implode.
much.
And they give it up for Uncle Al,
Oh man,
Yeah.
Uncle Al. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
who's just absolutely killing it.
Uncle Al's doing what he needs to
from the
do.
3-point line.
14 years later. About the implosion thing, I'm blanking on his name. He played really well against Celtics, the point guard.
Nemhard.
Yeah, Nimhard.
Yeah, Nemhard.
He had a great game into those last two possessions.
Yeah.
And I know you made a comment, Matt, on it about not calling a timeout, so I want to hear your opinion on that. But he kind of just went head down, Karl Anthony Towns style, lost it.
Yep.
Celtics scored, and then coming down the other way, Drew Holiday had a really good defensive play, but still same thing. Head down. Let's see if we can get to the rim. They got away from that drive, dish, pick and roll screen kind of stuff. So that was interesting.
I think
They panicked.
I think you saw Nemhard. He was really feeling himself, and as well as he should have. I mean,
I
he had
would have
over
been.
30 points.
Yeah, for sure.
And he thought he was going to get right into it, but he ran into Drew Holiday, who apparently was very, very sick during that game, but played excellent defense the entire time. And
Yeah, he didn't look it at all.
And I just them not calling a timeout to draw up a play to try to get into a set, to run something, even if it was for Nemhard, even if it was for him, that's fine. But saying, "Hey, young guy, sprint down that floor, get us something to try to close this game out." Again, you see it so often with some of these, and again, being a Timberwolves fan, I see it all the time with Timberwolves running terrible plays at the end of quarters and throwing the ball away. But Nemhard was going insane, and he absolutely should have taken a shot, but immediately losing the ball on that first possession and then coughing it up again when they had another chance. It just shows you what kind of a team that the Pacers are. I compared them last week to the Atlanta Hawks when Trae Young went on that crazy thing. Same situation. Just they've kind of lucked into this like Eastern Conference Finals.
Celtic. No,
The
Pacers.
Pacers.
Yes.
The Pacers luck.
And now you're wondering, like, are the Pacers good? Like, that's the whole thing that I'm thinking when I watch it.
I mean, when they're playing great offense, they are looking really good. But
But at the
can
way
they keep that up forever?
they're shooting at it, like Matt said, they're shooting at a 67% clip.
Yeah, but they've been showing that they can do that fairly consistently.
You are
which
right
is
about that, too.
crazy.
But again, it goes back to they score 123 points, they give up 120 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't have that against a real team like the Celtics. The Knicks should have beaten them, absolutely. Brunson, Randall, Mitch Robinson. There's so many guys that were hurt on that team, and even Dante DiVincenzo was keeping them close.
Yeah, it was.
In those games. And even if you think about the Pacers should have made it out of the first round, but again,
Who
they
did
ended
play
up
in the first round again?
the Bucks.
Oh, yeah.
That was also with injured Giannis and
Yeah. We
Injured
talked about
Dame
that.
out as well.
So they've just lucked into this, and now again, I'm watching the Celtics. I know that they're good. I absolutely acknowledge that they're a really great team that has a high pedigree, that are very frustrating to watch sometimes with just how they go about their business sometimes. So it's like, okay, so what is this Pacers team? Is this a Pacers team that is going to get back to the Eastern Conference Finals in the next 5 years?
No.
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Is Halliburton a guy that you want to build around? Possibly.
I don't know.
If he can become
his
more
game,
consistent again.
I guess, but his game, and I mentioned this, like, it's drive. He's a very good facilitator. But when he gets hot, he gets hot. But when he misses shots, I guess that's any basketball player. But still, to build a squad around that, I don't think he's a consistent enough scorer yet in order to do that.
It also depends what you mean by build a squad around him, because nowadays building a squad could mean bringing another superstar in. So
yeah,
it could just be a complementing superstar.
Well, so they traded for Siakam. Obviously, that's going super well. He's a free agent at the end of this year.
Yep, 23 points in game 1.
Is Siakam saying, this is a team that I want to be around? This is a team that I think I can grow in, and that I can be a part of a championship like I was in Toronto? No, because in Toronto, Siakam had Marc Gasol, Kyle Lowry, and Kawhi Leonard.
You could just Kawhi Leonard alone.
Right. But this Pacers team, I feel like it's going to be a one-and-done situation. They're really going to struggle to bring anybody in and make little to no impact. And again, be where that Hawks team is right now, where they're looking at offloading Trey or offloading DeJounte Murray, Clint Capella not coming back. I just feel like in general, and I know the Celtics are up 3-0, so maybe we should be talking about the Celtics more than the Pacers.
Yeah.
But I just watch those games, and I'm like, this is a great representation of like what the Eastern Conference is right now.
Well, I think the problem with talking about the Celtics is that everyone expected exactly what they're seeing. Like, the Celtics drop games, they played down to a level, but they will pull it out.
Yeah.
They win games.
I mean,
Brown is doing some crazy stuff right now. Game 1, 26, 7, and 5. Game 2, 40 points. Really was able to do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. And when he's doing that, you would think, and chime in, boys, but you would think that would free up JT a little bit more. But for some reason, I don't know if it's a you go, I go type thing, but Jason Tatum, he'll shoot an air ball, he'll miss a layup, and then he'll come back and hit 2 threes. He'll have another air ball, he'll turn it over, and then he'll come back and do that again. Like, I don't know what's going on with him. Now, game 1, what did Tatum have? 36, 12, and 4. Game 2, solid game, below average shooting night for him. But still, like, you have to guard him. You have to put someone on him. So
it just feels like when you're watching him play, and he takes that absolutely like mind-numbing 3-pointer with like 12 seconds left on the shot clock.
Like the Timberwolves were doing tonight.
Exactly.
Yep.
That hits like the front of the rim, and you're like, why is that the shot that you want? Yeah. And it does get to that your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn thing with Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Now, thankfully, there are guys. It's shocking to say, like Al Horford can bail them out of some situations. Holiday can bail them out. Derek White is like, if you were going to say like a team MVP, you would probably give it to him.
Oh, yeah.
For like how great he keeps that all together.
The number of times he's bailed them out in the playoffs over the years is insane.
Porzingis was doing that in the regular season, bailing those guys out. They have a very, very, very good solid squad. Uncle Al, which is Al Horford, 15, 6, and 1 in game 1. Game 2, don't have anything down for him. Game 3, did he?
He was 7 for 10.
7 for 10.
Well, over the whole series, he's shooting 45.7% field goals and 40% from 3.
Yeah, it says right there. 7 for 10 on threes, 21 points. Huge game for the old man. And he's playing defense, and he's getting rebounds, and he's switching on the smaller guys and doing what he needs to do. Like,
I'm telling his knees have just got to be cracking.
Oh man,
he just wants that championship, and then he doesn't care about.
Oh, he is so done next year. Like, win or lose, he's out. Last thing, Pacers. they play at a freaking F1 pace.
Mm-hmm.
They play fast, and
I mean, they
I know,
have to.
and I know they played fast, and I know you guys mentioned they played fast, but this is I've watched 3 games of them, and the only 3 games I've seen. But man, that first game, the Celtics were trying to play at that pace, and it was not working. Siakam was doing whatever he wanted. He had 23 points. Turner was torching him. He had 24 points, doing really whatever he wanted. Who's the injured point guard? Halliburton, 25 points, and he was hot. He was making shots. So
I just think it's amazing how they're able to get quality shots.
the Celtics? Pacers.
The Pacers.
Yeah.
Like, how great that they are. And just the random guys. Nemhard having over 30 points in that game is insane. TJ McConnell coming off the bench.
Legacy game.
That's who.
And
thinking
TJ McConnell.
just absolutely ripping them up. That dude is not a 3-point shooter. He is a paint scorer all day long, and he's drilling shots. Siakam can get it going whenever he wants. Miles Turner, who I'm just a little confused why he is not more in the mix when there are shots going up. They've really got such an impressive offensive team.
TJ McConnell, 23, 9, and 6.
That's
That's
wild.
That's a good
for
game.
A small white point guard to have that kind of a stat line.
Nemhard, 32, 4, and 9.
But they're still down 3.
They're down 3.
And this is going to wrap up probably before the podcast gets posted tomorrow, I would assume.
Yeah.
This is just a, I don't know. It's such an interesting test case for the Western Conference being this absolute slugfest between all of these teams 1 through 8. And then you go over to the Eastern Conference and it's so riddled with injuries and poor play and teams not showing up when it really matters. And I just feel like whoever comes out of the East, there's never been a team that's come back from 3-0 in the conference finals. We saw that on the broadcast tonight.
That we did.
Got that. But even whatever team comes from the East, they're destined for 7 games. They're destined to have an absolute fight on their hands because these Western Conference teams are coming in bloodied and bruised
Are just
from
battling,
all their games.
Battling. It is pretty wild. Well, we have to talk about it. And the Timberwolves played tonight. What do we think? They lost. What do we think? Let's talk. We can start game 1 if we want. We can go game 2.
We already talked about game 1 and 2 for the most part.
Yeah, mentioned it a little bit.
Here's where I would love to start. I'm a plus-minus guy.
Yeah, you are. Explain that for me, please, and our listeners.
It's basically just a way to show when you're not just looking at the core stats like scoring, rebounds, assists, turnovers, like that kind of a thing. Plus minus is when you are on the floor, are you a positive player or are you a negative player? Are you helping or are you hurting?
Mm-hmm.
So it takes into account everything. It does not just say, well, he's a good scorer, so he's a plus player. If you're a good scorer and you play awful on defense and you have a bunch of turnovers and you don't have any assists and you don't really participate in what's going on,
contributing to what's going on. Yep,
you're going to be a negative player.
Okay.
So tonight for the Mavericks, every single player in their starting lineup was a positive player. Luka was 6, Kyrie was 12, Derek Jones was 15, Gafford was 10, and Lively was up there as well. But that's pretty incredible for as tight of a game as it was for all of them to be positive players. What that shows is that they are all playing fundamental basketball together as a team. Now, take a look at the Timberwolves, who have, for the most part, their starting lineup been fairly positive. But tonight, Cat's minus 12, Ant minus 9, Gobert minus 8, Conley minus 18, McDaniels minus 6.
So that was the one I was going to bring up, is I feel like Conley, sure, he's going to have the minus side, but he also was in a rotation where the rotation tonight, they didn't have Edwards in while Conley's trying to guard Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, he got in the foul trouble early, too.
Yeah, that's a tough scenario. Of course he's going to have him.
But that is a decision that they made. They put Ant
I
on Derek
agree.
Jones Jr., and they put Conley on Kyrie, and they kept McDaniels on Luka.
I was not defending Timberwolves' choices. I was defending Conley specifically a little bit there.
We're just getting ripped apart by this team.
Yeah.
TNT showed, and it's going to be more. I would probably guess it's over 50. They've had 45 lobs during this playoffs, and Luka has had most of them during this whole run. We're getting destroyed by Kyrie and Luka, who are driving, and then both of the defenders are coming up because they don't understand their defensive assignment, and then they're just jamming on us over and over and
effortlessly.
over again.
Yeah, it's 2 dribbles into the middle of the lane and toss it up.
And occasionally we help them out and just foul them while they're jamming on us. Saw that tonight.
Yeah. It's wild that the NBA is all about pick and rolls. Pick and rolls, threes, big guys are shooting now. But Dallas doesn't, from what I see, they're not relying on the 3-point shot. Kyrie's getting to the hole. Luka's getting to the rim. And then they do what you just said. There's help because you need to help off those guys. If you don't, they're going to have 45 a night.
They're going to have that without the help.
They're going to score, and then it's a lob.
Well, tonight Luka and Kyrie were 8 for 17 from 3, and both had 33 points each.
Yeah, they were feeling it.
And this is what they do. They just absolutely pick you apart right and left, and no amount of our defense can stop them. Because you can watch the games, and we have good defense, especially on Luka for most of the times that he's shooting the ball.
Yeah.
And he's just cashing them. He's just
tonight,
absolutely
Kyrie,
killing it.
Same deal.
Kyrie was the same way.
There was a ton of hands in his face, falling away, just cash.
And Matt mentioned this before we started recording, but that's what he's been doing his whole career. Kyrie, getting to his spot, shooting where he wants to shoot.
At a time where vanished a bit.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't need to get into
we don't need to get into when he vanished. Oh man.
I mean, I'll even point this out. So, Naz Reid, who technically I do have to have his name tattooed on my body after that game, because
I wonder why. Why, Matt?
He made quite a few 3-pointers in that second game. Even in the second game, for a plus-minus, you look at that, he was at 0. So even though he made a bunch of 3-pointers, defensively, he was a 0.
Yeah.
He was not able to keep up. He's not able to help. They keep getting switches, and they keep just absolutely torching us. And I think what's probably more disturbing than anything else is that there's no sort of adjustments being made by the coaching staff to try to combat this.
It is true.
Obviously, we talked about the switch on defense, Conley being on Kyrie this game, whatever. That's not a significant improvement. Go to a zone, try to find some sort of a way to slow down those minutes. Try to attack them. That's the other thing. Kyrie defensively has been pretty good this playoffs. Luka is an absolute 0. He is a turd burger on defense. You got to go at that guy. You got to try to get him on switches. You got to try to...
I would like to mention something with that, too, because, as you said, turd burger was the word he used there on defense. That man had 5 steals tonight because we were playing so sloppy.
He had 5 steals
5
tonight?
steals. Didn't do anything to get him, but he had 5.
When someone does have him ISO'd on the wing or up on top, like, they'll get to his hip, and then they won't take that extra dribble or two actually to get to the lane. And what Kyrie and Luka both do very well is they get to your hip, they veer in front of you, they slow down, so now they have the whole court in front of them, and their defensive players now behind them. We weren't doing that, and I haven't noticed any of that during any of their games. Anthony Edwards is fast, very fast, and he can get to the rim whenever he wants. But imagine if he took 2 dribbles, got that defender on his back. Now, who needs to step up? Cat's man, Rudy's man. We can't throw lobs. We've figured that out. But maybe you can try to throw a lob, or he can have a jumper or something like that. But that's what they need to do.
It's also just getting to the general points, and you know what, this will be my one moment of like true unadulterated pessimism that I can give.
Let me hear it.
The Karl Anthony Towns experiment, I feel like, is coming to a very, very fast conclusion for the Timberwolves here.
Doesn't he have 4 years left on his contract?
Yeah.
I don't know how we're
all right, continue.
get out of that, but
I don't know how you get out of it. I don't know how you replace that. I don't know what team in the NBA would want to take a flyer on it, especially watching this. But watching him play, 38 minutes, 37 minutes this game, going 0 for 8, having the second most shots on the team, watching the type of defense that he plays. Again, my pet peeve is that every single time that they get beat on a defensive switch and they score, he throws his hands up in the air like he can't believe that this happened to him, and he can't believe his teammates let him down. When every single time it is his fault for allowing that score and that drive to happen. Even in game 2, Naz Reid was feeling it, and they kept him in, and they took Cat out. And I'm not saying that Naz Reid needs to be the starter by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not saying that at all. I think Naz being in the sixth man is actually a great, great asset for the Timberwolves to have. But how you replace him is, I don't know how you're going to be able to do it. I don't know how the Wolves are going to be able to do it. I don't know any team that is going to take him on. I feel like everybody is going to look at him as a sunk cost, like almost like a toxic asset at this point.
Yeah.
Where you're not going to be able to move on from him because, again, he's starting his very massive Supermax deal that he has with us. And watching him in the rotation, watching him in the lineup, it's not working this playoffs.
No.
It's not working. And Dallas is exploiting it. And we're just going to get to a point where, again, if we get swept, I'm absolutely going to say that Cat was a massive problem in it. He played super well against Denver. And I thought, like, maybe there is some kind of a corner he is turning. But I have seen it. We've done this for how freaking long? It can't continue.
From the games I watched during the regular season too, he was playing very good team basketball. Like, when his night was not his night, he would get rebounds, he would play defense, he would probably still be in foul trouble, but...
Except for that 60-point abomination against the Charlotte Hornets, but...
Oh, man.
60-point? What? Explain. They lost by 60, or he scored 60?
No, he scored a whole bunch, and then they forced the ball to him
Yes.
the whole rest of the game so that we lost.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yep. I do remember that.
And then wasn't it Joel Embiid that night came and just said, screw that.
Oh,
I'm
didn't
gonna score more.
Yeah, Embiid had quite the game against Victor Wembanyama, which is
Wasn't there
very
a third
interesting.
one who went off that same week? Didn't Booker have some crazy numbers too?
I mean, he's always due.
Yeah, you're right.
He's always due. But yeah, I don't know how you can look at this team and say Cat is a valuable asset that we need going forward, especially at the number that he's at. See, it's so much different if he is we're giving him $15 million, $20 million a year even.
Yeah.
That baby's going up to 35, and that's the first year. So when that backloaded contract hits in the last year, it's going to be way, way higher than that.
That's wild. That is wild.
And I don't want to call him a losing player because I feel like that's a little too harsh. But it's definitely not helping any sort of an offensive flow, any sort of a defensive rhythm, anything that's actually contributing to much success.
Yeah. No, you said it perfectly. Offensive rhythm, defensive flow. Like, there's zero when he's out there. I wouldn't say zero. I wouldn't say zero.
Offensively, when he's on, he's a great offensive player.
When he's on. Like,
also,
look tonight.
When he's off on his threes, why do we not use him down low more? He actually hits those quite often. And when he was driving in tonight, he was making his layups.
Yeah.
Like, stop settling for what you're not making.
That's what he does, though. He wants to settle because he wants to get one, and then like, okay, I can get another one. Oh, okay. Yeah. And as a basketball player, yeah, shooters are gonna shoot.
I understand. If you've got one, I'm gonna get another one. But he didn't get one. Like, there was nothing going for him.
And that brings back the point of, like, so we talked about Jason Tatum taking just random threes with a lot of time left in the shot clock. That happened how many times tonight, Matt? It was like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
When we were down
often.
What? Maybe 3 to 5 points? Like, we weren't down a lot. They're like, "Oh, I need to get a 3 up. Oh, I need to get a 3 up."
This is a larger discussion that maybe we can save for another day. But the 3-point shot being such a massive emphasis in the game, I feel like has kind of rotted some brains to think like that is the shot that you absolutely have to take when you get the smallest amount of separation. Again, look at what Kyrie and Luka are doing. Every single time they are trying to work it, go down, go down, go down. And they keep doing that. It's almost like when you're running the ball a bunch in football. You run the ball, weak the middle, get the middle weak, play action, long pass, or try to spread the ball out a little bit more. You're trying to open up that defense as much as you possibly can, because then there are guys that are slipping, going out to the corners. Derrick Jones Jr., I don't know how many threes he had tonight, but every single time that he shot the three, I was like, there is nobody within 10 steps of him right now, because you keep punishing the middle. And again, going back to what you're talking about, Luka and Kyrie are getting these guys on their hips. They have a straight line ahead.
Yep.
They've got one defender in front of them. They know if they decide to pop the shot right now, they got somebody right behind them, it's going to be a foul. If they go forward a little bit more, they know they can dish it off.
Yep.
The Timberwolves just don't do that.
Well,
no.
I would say Edwards tonight finally showed some signs of doing that, but he's also not to the level of Kyrie and Luka on kicking it once he gets down there. He's young, inexperienced, not inexperienced, that's the wrong word, but I think the older he gets, the better he'll get at passing it out to
his
teammates,
decision-making
where
skills.
they need for a good shot.
His decision-making skills are either spot on and they're good, or they're shaky at times. Like
his decision-making should be just dunk on everybody now.
Dude, that was something. That was nice. That was nice.
But that stretch of time where he scored 6 straight points in under a minute.
It was 8. He went
eight
off.
straight points. He was just incredible. Boom, 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 boom. And you're like, my goodness, go to that every single time. But what was he doing? He was trying to work it inside. He settled for a couple fadeaways, but it worked.
Yeah.
It was perfectly fine. He had a bank shot that I thought was outrageous that he even attempted that shot there, and he made it.
The angle that looked at, I don't know how that went in.
It was like
and then
basically top of the square and just fell straight
slow
down.
motion replay too. You were just
let me mention one of Matt's favorite players here. It's just kidding, it's mine. But Dwayne Wade. That's a Dwayne Wade shot right there.
Oh boy. And continue.
Great. Yeah. That's a Dwayne Wade shot. He's the first one to ever do it. No. Yeah. I just think this team, the offensive identity of not trying to work it, not trying to open things up, not trying to spread the ball. Conley has been kind of shockingly bad in this series. He's really struggled. He had those really fast 3 fouls in the second half tonight. It's really, really putting us in a bad position here. And again, Denver is not Dallas. Denver was a much more realistic series in the sense of they've got Michael Porter Jr. out there. That's a defensive liability. Jamal Murray was not doing all that hot. Jokic, he's the best player in the world, but you know what? He does give up some stuff to Cat. The only one that they really have out there is Aaron Gordon, who can kind of contest all this kind of stuff. Dallas, very, very different. Kyrie playing super, super well. Derrick Jones Jr., very lengthy, can really switch well. Gafford is all over the place. Lively, obviously, he got hurt tonight, but he's been very impressive. He hasn't missed a shot this series.
No.
And
again, he's probably got 15 of those 45 lobs.
I mean, I was going to say he's just dunking like crazy. But still, for a team that has really changed their identity throughout the season with the trades that they've gotten, even PJ Washington is playing some solid defense when he's out there. I just feel like definitely for myself, I underestimated what kind of a team the Mavericks were in this matchup. That they've really got to figure it out. That's a team that's absolutely humming, and honestly,
they're playing very well together.
Honestly, when they get to the finals, I'll just say that.
He's already quitting.
I'm not quitting. But again,
is he walking out on dinner, or the Timberwolves walking out on dinner?
Who's cheating on who?
I'm not cheating on anybody. But I just think when they get to the finals, and if they end up winning it, I'm not going to be that surprised, because the way that they have just beat up on teams. I mean, they've really smacked OKC around, and OKC was solid this entire year. And honestly, I think if the Mavericks got the Nuggets, it might be going a lot like this. It might be going a lot like this series is going right now. And maybe the Timberwolves, that was their matchup. You know, they had it against Denver. They used all of their powers and their magic.
Yeah.
And can't compete anymore. But
I mean, you got to. It comes back to what we were talking about earlier. These are close games. There's no reason we couldn't have won all 3 of these if we just played smart at the end of the game.
That is true.
Absolutely. But when it gets to those last couple minutes, the 2-3 minute time, and Luka and Kyrie are in complete control.
Oh, yeah.
Every single time that they're down there, they're like, you absolutely are petrified.
I want to see a stat on the last 4 minutes. Do they miss anything? I don't.
Efficiency-wise,
like.
I don't know if they did.
How do you stop it? I mean, honestly, it feels a lot like those early Curry seasons where it was like, doesn't matter that the score is tied or that you're up by 10 right now. Curry's going to get you back.
Well, that was exactly what I said tonight. I said if we're not up by 7 with, a minute and a half to go, it's over. We're not winning. And it went way worse than that. But for the first 2 games, there's no way, even with like a minute and a half. Those guys aren't missing any shots. They're built for that moment.
You know exactly where the ball's going.
Yeah.
It's going to one of those 2 guys.
But it doesn't matter that you know. You can guard them perfectly. They're still going to make that.
Oh, I know. And they're smart enough to know, and they trust their players enough right now because they are, in Matt's words, humming. They're going to kick and dish. Those guys are going to shoot, hit threes. They are going to throw their lobs. So it's not that, they can get anywhere on the floor. It's the fact that they're playing so well together that it makes Kyrie and Luka their jobs even easier. It's like, oh, I'm going to shoot. Okay, I'm going to make it. Oh, no, I'm going to pass. Oh, here's a lob.
And I'll even point this out. I feel like these are actually like the stats that I think are most representative, especially of this game. So the Mavericks shot 20% better from 3 than the Wolves did tonight. The Wolves had 85 shots total in the game, and the Mavericks only had 68. The Wolves are doing like 2 times as much work to try to keep pace with them, and the Mavericks are just taking their sweet time. They're slowing things down.
I'm guessing that was just this game, right?
Yes, just this game.
I was going to say the last 2, I think they were a little bit slower in the first half, where this one they're kind of kicking or at least keeping up, if not kicking our butt for a majority of the game.
That's still wild, though.
And another thing on top of it, we're at 67 free throw attempts in 3 games for the Wolves. They're getting to the line. They're getting calls. Mm-hmm. It's not like there is a massive disparity in who gets to shoot free throws in this.
Nope.
So even the complaining that we've done about how they're really not driving, they're really not attacking, they are doing that to a certain extent, but it is just not capitalizing. It is not doing the same things that Luka and Kyrie are doing to us every single time that they're coming down the floor.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that Dallas is basically never not having one of them on the floor. When Luka sits, Kyrie is out there. When Kyrie sits, Luka is always out there.
Yep.
They're never resting those dudes at the same time, so they never have to put anyone else on their team who could not ball handle for them. If you look at the whole Dallas roster, you have to bring in Dante Exum. That is who they have as a ball handler this year, who has had a great year, actually, defensively and everything like that, but that's who you have to rely on. So you have to put them in tougher positions to make them, 1, defensive liabilities, 2, pressure them as much as you possibly can. You have to put more work onto them. And right now they're just not getting they're not working. They're not working very hard at all to get the easiest shots that you can imagine.
Yeah. I would agree. Moving forward. What do you think? Game 4 in Dallas again. We've kind of touched on what they need to do better. Are you making defensive changes? Are you going to maybe like a matchup zone? Like what are you thinking?
Just close out the end of the game.
Yeah. The last who said it? Last 2 minutes and 30 seconds?
Yeah, just
but how
play
can
smarter. I mean,
how can they set themselves up
in this last game? If we played smart at the end and they still won it by 1 point, they deserved it. Like they played great tonight. The first 2 games, those should have been our games. Mm-hmm. We lost, not they won.
It feels like we're the younger brother trying to fight the older brother at the moment.
Yep.
And the older brother is pounding us into the pavement.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the Mavericks have not earned very much. This is not like this is an experienced group of guys that have made all these finals runs and everything like that. Kyrie's really only made a couple of these runs. Nobody else on this team has really done a whole lot. Even Jason Kidd as a coach, he has not accomplished that much of a coach. He basically got ran out of Milwaukee for the way that he was there.
Did his Nets team ever make it to like a conference finals or finals?
No.
That was a mess.
No, the Nets, the Milwaukee was just horrible for him, and he's really flipped it around. He's really changed a lot. Again, I'm very proud of the Timberwolves, regardless of how this ends with a sweep or if we lose in Game 6 or whatever it is. I'm very proud of this team, and I still have very high hopes for them in the future.
Yep.
Absolutely think that they're going to be a contender next year.
Yeah.
With this current roster that they have, I think they're always going to be in it, and Ant is definitely going to get us into that position. That being said, it just feels like you are like fighting quicksand when you're playing the Mavericks.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you get a hand out there, an arm up there, whatever, and then it just sucks you right back down every single time. Again, I am more optimistic. I believe in my Timberwolves. But I can also be but I can also be realistic in the sense they're down 3-0. They're losing very close games, and I do think that they're going to win one. I don't think they're going to get swept. But this is just a moment that seems to be too big. It seems way too big for them. Yeah. But absolutely they can run it back next year.
Yep.
I like that.
Cat aside. Cat aside.
That's a whole other hour conversation that we can probably dive into at another time.
Yeah. If they're winning Game 4, according to you, do they win coming back home?
Hey, how many do they win back home?
It's very hard because if they're going to win Game 4, then they are really going to have to. They're really, really, really going to have to change defensively. And honestly, I kind of feel like if they're going to win, it's going to be by quite a few points. Does that mean Dallas does what the Pacers did in Game 2 against the Celtics, where they're like 9 minutes left in the game, we're losing, Siakam, go sit on the bench. We know you're having a run by yourself, but we're punting on this game. We're gonna say goodbye to that one.
That was odd.
I can see Dallas being like, you know what, Minnesota's up by quite a bit on us right now. Luka has every injury designation that you can possibly have. Let's give him a break. We'll let him have this one. Whatever. Again, they're going to have to be down by quite a bit to have that. Unfortunately, I think we lose in the fifth game. If we get one, it just means the next one we're probably going to get beat. I think that they would love to kill us on our court. I think they would love to kill us on our court.
But what does the NBA want?
Yeah.
The NBA wants both of these bad boys going to 7 games. They're not getting it.
No, they're not getting it.
They're not getting that at all.
They're not getting it. They've tried twice with Indiana and
no,
it hasn't worked out for them.
No, that Celtics Pacers one that is an absolute wrap. That is an absolute wrap. There.
I'll tune in tomorrow night for that one, but we'll see. That might be an early night depending upon how everything's going.
Yeah, the NBA. If Adam Silver, which you're more than welcome to come on the pod, Adam Silver, please.
We would love it.
Come join us in Taylor's basement. We'll get another mic going. They absolutely want it to go 7 games. 100%. Revenue-wise, sure. Absolutely want that.
For sure. The refs probably want some of that, too.
The refs?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Tonight, we don't need to get into it, but tonight was a little suspicious with some of these calls that they were calling.
Do you want to get into the Luka thing? Do you want to get into the Luka thing?
I do, but I don't. I do, but no, we're not going to get into it.
All right. I'll just say this.
We're going to be here for another 40 minutes if I get into that.
If Luka was on my team, I would be so happy. I would love to have him on my team. I think he's an amazing basketball player. I don't care that he talks a bunch of crap and that he talks to the refs more than his family.
I'm okay. Oh, man.
I think he's amazing. I understand why everybody gets very, very sick of his actions. I understand it.
He talks to the refs more than his family. Oh my. He is, yes, I agree with you. Great basketball player. If he was on the Celtics, hey, do whatever you want. I like that he's competitive. I like that he talks trash. I'm a fan of that. But you don't need the three things that bothered me the most was he made 3 fadeaway, very difficult shots when the Wolves were guarding him really well, and he fell every single time. Like, dude, you don't need to keep selling it. You're gonna get your calls. That's all I'm gonna say. Or I'm gonna get real heated and
Stopping at 1 of 3.
I'm stopping at 1 of 3.
All right. That's fine. That's fine. But I know there are probably many Timberwolves fans that are just going absolutely nuts right now over Luka.
Yeah, I bet. Go Celtics. I want this game to go at least 2 more games. This series go 2 more games.
Me too. It's more Wolves games.
Yeah, way more
Love
Wolves
that.
games.
Love that.
More discussions
So
like
all the way to
this.
7, we'll win it, and then
Dude, that would be
fine.
wild. Those hams are still on the line. They're not looking too good for you right now, Matt.
Yeah, if you guys are just wondering about a Hams update, it's not looking so hot at the moment because I really need the Timberwolves to win this series so I can get 90 hams.
Not a sponsor, but could be.
Yep, I was gonna say that. I forgot to
90
say it.
hams.
90.
If anyone knows anybody working at Hams, just send them my way. I just want to have a quick talk, just a quick conversation. Would love to have them on the podcast. If the Bear's real, we'll invite them on too. Whatever you want to do. Big fan of the product. Would love to endorse it.
Huge fan. All right, wrapped up some Eastern Conference Finals talk. We're pretty much in agreement that the Celtics are going to do what they need to do next game. Timberwolves got some work cut out for them, but it is possible. They can do it. They can do it. So we are going to finish up with some rapid fire questions for our man Matt over there. He hit us with 1:30 on the clock and went with a bunch of questions. So Trevor and I, 99.5% Trevor, came up with a handful of questions, and if he remembers the one that I asked or sent to him earlier today in a text, he'll answer or he'll ask it. But if he doesn't, I'll just ask it at the end.
I can start with that so I don't forget it.
Do you know it?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Matt, are you ready?
The streets were wondering, why wasn't I asked any questions? Well,
They were.
listeners, I wasn't asked any questions because I was the one who came up with the questions for the other two, and they
Yeah,
never
we weren't
bothered to come up
prepared.
with any.
We were not prepared. We did not have 6 sheets of notes.
This is some good insight on prep.
Yeah, Matt tries to keep us organized, but we're just all over the place. So.
Now what do we have, though, guys? A Google Doc where we're going to dump everything.
That's right.
So we're going to be extra prepped.
Very
Either
proud.
that or way more confused.
And
You
did
never know.
Trevor add anything into that doc?
Not a damn thing.
Not a damn thing.
Nope, I put it straight into a different document.
And he sent it to us.
I am ready to roll whenever you guys are ready.
All right, Trevor, take it
All
away.
right.
Here we go.
Okay, Matt. Sourdough or pumpernickel?
Sourdough, duh.
Fries or tots?
Fries.
Legos or Connects?
Legos. What are these questions? Connects?
Where is the best vacation destination?
Ooh. Let's go Germany, and yeah, I'm just gonna say Germany. Germany's a wonderful place.
Not going to give any reasons.
Sure. We went there a couple years ago. Berlin was a little scuzzy, but had a lovely time. Munich was gorgeous. I wish we would have had a lot more time there. They have an entire train that goes through the entire country. Wherever you want to go, you can just go. It's gorgeous. They obviously have some amazing beer there. A little too many sausages and sauerkraut for my liking. Maybe throw a little bit of green on there whenever you get a chance. Gorgeous, gorgeous place. Love it.
Nice. Have to make a trip out there sometime. Favorite band?
Oh, favorite band?
Yeah, Stumper.
Oh, man. See,
30 seconds.
Yeah, so I don't listen to a lot of bands. Let's just go with Sublime.
All right. Cinematic wise, Batman or Spider-Man?
Oh, Batman.
That seemed pretty easy.
Yeah, that is easy. Spider-Man's a child.
15 seconds.
All right. Would you rather play in the NBA or NFL?
NBA.
Could this year's Olympic basketball team beat the '92 Dream Team?
No.
What is your favorite
5
animal?
seconds.
My favorite animal?
Yep.
A liger.
Who wins in a one-on-one, Larry Bird or Luka Doncic?
Oh, Larry Bird.
3,
And is
2.
Bigfoot real?
It's got to be.
1.
I choose to believe that there is some hairy Sasquatch walking the earth right now. I choose to believe that.
All right. That's what we got.
That's
wait,
a wrap.
no. We got one more question.
We got one more.
We got the important one.
Oh, yeah, the
What's
very
the
important
world's
one.
best light beer? Don't screw it up.
It's Hams. It always has been, always will be Hams.
Not a sponsor, but could be.
And that's a wrap on episode 2. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe, rate the podcast on Spotify and Apple Music. It's also on YouTube. I think it's over on Audible as well, if I looked at the stats correctly. You guys are truly the best. Thanks for supporting, and we will be back with another one soon. Signing off.